We kind of understand, a little bit tired right now. But now, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to DeVoe and Shirley Moore. Can you hear me now? Can you get it now? I'd like to say a special thank you to DeVoe and Shirley for having us out here. This turned into a great event, and thank you so much. I saw DeVoe on his cell phone right there, and they say he's talking to himself. You don't listen to anybody, so who are you talking to? He never listens to anybody. He can't ever get nothing across to him. Isn't that right, Shirley? But I'll go to sleep. Don't worry about it. But I'd like to say a special thank you. You know, before I get started, because I always start talking about ball in our program, and I'll leave some people out that are very, very important. And recently, I haven't seen them very much. We've kind of been on the road, and like all the coaches, and I'm going to let each coach introduce his wife and his family and the ones that are here. But I want to say a special thank you to introduce my wife, Candy, my sons, Trey and Ethan, who I'm just now, I think they've grown about an inch and a half since I started. There's no doubt you got to be blessed to have a special wife when you're a coach. And but like I tell everybody, if we're together all the time, I don't know if we'd be together. That separation kind of helps every now and then. But I just like to say, you know, we're excited about today, just like y'all are. And, you know, we're looking forward to the future and what we're trying to do. But, you know, today goes a long way. And everybody's excited about the players and, you know, excited about the direction we're going. We had a great season, we know that. And, but no, not everything we wanted. But it has to start with players. And we know that to get to where we're wanting to go and go to the places we're wanting to be and make Florida State back in the national limelight, we have to start with players, and recruiting has been a huge part of that. And, you know, everybody today has been patting us on the back, and it's great. And, you know, they say, you know, it's a great thing, and it is. You have to start the process right here. There's no doubt about it. And just like I tell folks about recruiting, you know, it's just like a game. And, you know, is offense more important, is defense more important, or is special teams more important? You know, just like in recruiting. Is recruiting more important? Is player development more important? Or is coaching more important? Guess what? They're all the same. You have to have all of them. But today set the standard and allowed us to do some things, hopefully in our player development, our coaching, that will take us where we want to go and back to where y'all have been before. We want to go back, and we know that. But, you know, it took a lot of time. And there's a special thank you out there, in my opinion, to not, you know, everybody's patting the coaches on the back, and I'll talk about them in a minute, but also our administration. I think our administration has really stepped up and booster clubs and done the things that we need to do, and have the changes I've asked for, the things I've asked for. Monk knows this, about every other day I'm calling him, or if I'm on the road, or I'm going up to his office, or asking him to come down to constantly make changes in what we're trying to do. And he goes back to Randy, go back to our President Barron, and they're allowing us to do the things we need to do. And because you cannot, and I tell everybody this every day, you can bring Vince Lombardi back here, you can bring Chuck Noles, you can bring Tom Landry. If the administration is not behind you, if the boosters aren't behind you, you're not going to get it done. So the changes that we asked for, they allowed us to do so we could do our job. And I just like to say a special thank you to them also. I'll say this, our coaches did a tremendous job. I think, as you'll hear from all of them tonight, and the groups that they represent, the positions they'll talk about. Now, understand this about recruiting. We do not position recruiting. So just because a guy coaches a guy in his position, not necessarily mean he recruits him. Now, he helped recruit him. And see, that's, I think, the difference in what we're trying to do now. We have guys that are responsible for all areas of the state. Everything within probably 6 to 7 hours of our, now I keep saying that Miami's farther than that, all the way, all the state of Florida, within a 5 to 6 hour radius, north and east and west, that we cover. Everybody's responsible for an area, and we go nationally on some kids. But each guy recruited those guys in that area. And then the position guys come in, and the head coach come in, the coordinators come in. I can honestly say, somebody asked me today, who's your best recruiter? Who got that? I said, everybody. I said, we recruited these guys as a unit, as a staff, and as a team. And that's what we're trying to stress for our players. The biggest thing you heard all the recruits talk about, when they talked about, they came here on the visit, they got around us, they said it felt like family. And I think that's the key. I think nobody on this staff has an ego about recruiting. Nobody has an ego about coaching. We're all in this thing together. And I think it really showed and how we recruited this year. And I think our staff did a tremendous job. It's a lot of hours. And we identified players, we evaluated them, we went back and forth. Then the staff went out and built the relationships. And understand something, you guys know this, relationships take time. You don't just go out and say, I want you. Will you come? Now some kids love it, and they come in early, but our staff did a tremendous job. You cannot imagine the amount of man hours that went into getting this class. Now unfortunately, we got to try and start that whole process again. It just keeps going on and on. Somebody said out there today, they said, boy, it was a great year, it was great. I said, yeah, too bad, we got to turn around and do it again now, no. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And there's no shortcut. The point I'm making is there's no shortcut to what's happening right now. There's no secret to what we're doing. Everybody says, why is it so special? Well, there's no secret to what we're doing. It's having a plan, having a great product to sell, and then just getting back and doing a lot of hard work. Spending time on the phone, spending time with coaches, getting guys to come to camp, just spending a ton of man hours trying to develop that relationship and let them understand what it's going to be like to be coached here, to play here, and have that great atmosphere in Doak Campbell Stadium. And our coaches, I think, did a tremendous job of that. But the other thing in recruiting that I'm the most proud of, who I think did just as good a job as anybody, is our players. I think our players on our team, it's the part of recruiting to me that is never talked about. The school, the administration, the history, the tradition, it's all we talk about in recruiting. But understand something. You can recruit 364 days a year and have that guy, have him ready to sign, his girlfriend ready to sign, his mom, his aunt, his uncle, the grandparents, the neighbors, the whole community can be ready to sign with you. And they come on a visit, or they get around a player, they get on somebody on our team, they get around our players, within 5 minutes they know if the coaches are genuine or not. The message they're sending and what's going on, if it's true or not. And what I was most excited about, every time I would talk to a recruit when he'd come back in my office the next day, or we had our meeting, I'd say, well, did you get to meet so-and-so, did you get to meet so-and-so? And generally, I kind of know those guys who they hang out with. You know what I mean? Or generally, they're around. And I would come back and I would say, you met so-and-so and so. I said, yeah, Coach, but I met him, and him too. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, Coach, everybody hangs together. He said, I met almost 3/4 of the team last night. I mean, everybody on the team was hanging together. He said it was like a family. They were in each other's room, they were playing video games, they were running around, they're hanging out together. And that sent a message to me. And I think our players were reiterating everything we said. That what we were saying was true, how it was going on. But to me, it gave me a great feeling at night where I could put my head on the pillow and feel very comfortable. Because when your players are selling the same message you are, and they believe in what you're doing, that's going to be the key. They recruited this class every bit as much as any of us did. There's no doubt about it. And to me, that's a great sign for the future, too, because you got to have everybody on board in what we're trying to do. We can coach all we want. If they don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. I think they did a tremendous job that way. But we are excited about this class. I'm going to let each coach come up, and he'll talk about his positions and then go through the specific players and what we did, and I'll close it out at the end. But to me, this is a very unique class in that it has a lot of depth, but every position is touched. And there's very few classes you can say that. And I've been some other #1 classes before, but I don't think we're as totally fulfilled across the board as this one. You had a lot of one thing and not enough of another. And I think not only in this class that we get great players, I think can win games that are significant, to make those big plays, but I think we add a lot of depth. And more importantly, the thing I told all these guys, which is we got to know this group, especially when you get a highly talented group like ours. Very often you have a kid that kind of fool themselves at times. You know what I mean? I didn't sense that. In our recruiting effort, these guys here, they were very confident. They were not arrogant. They carried themselves with confidence. They believed in themselves. And they were not afraid to go recruit other great players at their position. Actually, they recruited each other. Our players recruited each other. The players on the team recruited each other. Then they started, these guys here, these high school kids started recruiting each other. They want to play with other great players. Because they know to put a ring on their finger, you can't do it by yourself, especially in football. It's a whole different animal. It's a different sport totally. And these guys were not afraid to compete for positions, to understand that they need a guy beside them, or even at their position to push them, to split playing time or whatever it may be, to win and have success. And that was also very encouraging, because talent brings you to a young man. Everybody said, well, how'd you find that guy? What took you to him? I'm going to say talent. If you don't have talent, most of the time we move on. You have to have a certain level of talent. Talent got us to them. Character kept us with them. There's a lot of kids in this class, I think, that are very good people. and they represent themselves well, they carry themselves well, and also good students. I don't think there's hardly any academic casualties in this deal. I mean, there's the guys I think will qualify, that's why we sign them, or we're not going to sign them. And I think a bunch of guys that have a future that don't just see football. They see themselves as people first, and that's part of what we're trying to do, is develop the person, because the player will develop. If we can develop the person and explain that to him, and understand the big goals in life and the future in life, and be able to make decisions 10, 15, 20 years down the road, that's the kind of guys you want. Because like I say this all the time, talent wins games, character wins championships. Because a certain level of talent you have to have, but we have to have guys with character, because that's going to get you through the tough times. Talent's going to get equal. We can get as good a player as we want. When it starts getting in the end, you start playing against top team, they're just as good as you are. There's not a hill of beans between them. Now you have to have a certain level of talent to play with them. But in the end, it's going to be the character, the toughness, and all the intangibles about them that puts that ring on their finger. And that's what I'm excited about this class, and hopefully we can develop. I feel there's a lot of character in this class, not characters, which is lucky. Now, on our coaching staff, there may be more characters than there is character.
That'd be you.
Wait till you listen to it, you'll find out. But it is a very deep class, it really is. And we signed 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, 9 offensive linemen, 3 D tackles, 2 D ends, 2 backers, and 5 DBs. So I mean, all the way across the board, we not only hit great players, we hit our needs, we hit the depth, we hit quality people. So I think it's a very complete class, and one that we very much needed, because the class we had last year is very good. We got some top-notch guys in here, and we're excited about it. The other thing I'm excited about is meeting with our players the last couple of days, and individually meeting, going back and forth, and looking at them and telling them each of the strengths or weaknesses, where they fit in the program, their grades, what do we see about them, and it's about as good a group attitude-wise I've been around a lot. They see the vision of where we're trying to go. And I think that's part of, like I say, recruiting. They sold that vision to these recruits. But I'm very happy where our current players are right now. We're in the off-season, and Vic does a tremendous job. And I want to make sure I introduce, where's Vic Valori at right now? Vic, please stand up. My friends and conditioning coach, they spend more time with than we do. They develop all that toughness, the effort, the discipline, the pride, the things we talk about. That's where it comes from. And we're making tremendous strides in the weight room. And not only just in our strength and conditioning, but our attitude, our discipline, all the things that he brings to us, the energy level. And as you say, we're going to have, where's Dr. Thompson? Y'all have to do a shoulder replacement on him, waving that towel the whole game for every game, every year. A couple of years, that shoulder's going to wear out on the sideline. But he keeps that energy level high and understands his role and what he's trying to do for us. It's tremendous. And also, where is Bob Lasavito? Bob in here? Bob, please stand up. Bob is our on-campus recruiting coordinator and the player development guy, and does a tremendous job of identifying guys, getting us on the right guys, organizing things while we're on the road, and understanding how much behind the scenes it takes to organize and do what we're trying to do. They talk about it takes a village to raise a child. I'm going to tell you what, recruit a football team and coach a football team, it takes about 6 villages. There's enough people, and Bob does a tremendous job of leading that and directing everything that he does. And I wanted to make sure I recognize those 2 guys, because they won't be up here speaking about the players, but they do every bit as much as we do. They're as big a contributor in every way, shape, and form of what we're trying to do. But I'll get short-winded here in a minute, and I'll finish up after it's over with. But I'll let our coaches want to come up and talk about the players individually and the positions they coach and the guys they have. But we're very blessed. I think you'll enjoy this staff, and I think you'll like the video a little bit better. Thank you very much.